Jack Van Beber, how are my peeps doing in that control room?
And here we are, Egberto. Good morning to you. How are you?
Oh, we're great, man. We're great. We're great. We're great. Just ready to go. Have some great stories to talk about today, and I hope to hear from our peeps at 713-526-5738 sometime today. Please don't
And
wait
I'm
till
sure we
too
will.
late. Yes, we
Hey,
will.
just a note here. You have an admirer who calls me practically every day and wants to know what the name of the song is that I play in between you and Arnie Arneson. Well, I pick out a piece of smooth jazz every morning from the vast library we have. And this morning's song was Unity by Mark Antoine. So I'm hoping he won't have to call me today. So I'll go ahead and tell him what it is. Unity from Mark Antoine. And that was the song for the day. And I'm going to turn it over to Jack now.
Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, Jack.
Okay, first I want to give a little shout out to my friend Brett who sends me some of these inspirational pieces. So shout out to you, Brett. Adorn yourself with truth. Try to speak truth in all things and do not support a lie, no matter who asks you. That's Gennadius of Saint Gennadius of Constantinople.
I love it.
Well,
You hear that? I hope everybody heard that. You don't have to tolerate fallacies, folks. Listen to Jack Van
now,
Beber. Go ahead.
to all of the supporters of a certain former president, get your head out and listen to some truth, okay?
There you
So
go.
anyway, there we go. Vote them out. Vote them out.
Hey,
For the saints.
wait. Howard, it's not, we haven't gotten to the point where you do the whole vote them out scheme. We need that at just the right time so that American, it's just the right time, and then it to make it should make sure it's impactful. But anyway, it's always
Absolutely.
impact.
Now you were
It's all
you were telling me that UPS has reached some type of a settlement this
Yes,
morning.
yes, it's great, and let me tell you, it shows you when workers stick together and when the corporatocracy really sees that. Wait a minute, you mean these 340,000 people are really going to stop working? And yeah, we don't care if it screws the economy up, but we do care if it screws up the shareholders and our profits. So therefore, we better give some. And if they gave, you know how great they're doing based on how lucrative, in my opinion, so far, and it looks that way from the points that I got from the union rep, etc. It seems like it's much better than they thought. I was talking to Rick Smith from the Rick Smith show in Chicago when we went out there, and we did cross interviews, and Rick was he's also a trucker. He has a show that's syndicated, but he also is a trucker, and he didn't think that the union was going to get the kind of contract that they ended up getting. So I want to, I want to get some time and bring him on as well because I think he's going to be ecstatic with this deal as well. So anyway, there you go. But anyway, we got a great show, folks, for you today. Title of the show is a UPS Teamsters Union Steward on the agreement, DailyKos founder on 2024, and Patrick threatens Professor. Subtitle, UPS Teamster Steward Evette Avery Herrod, who we had here on Monday talking about getting this stuff going. She returns and she tells us her opinion about the strike being averted and how things worked out. Then we have DailyKos founder Markos Moulitsas. He discusses the election of 2024. We have Patrick, Dan Patrick threatens a professor, almost lost her job for telling the truth. Anyway, folks, remember that this is a call-in show, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. Extension numero dos, extension number 2 will get you on air right away. There are many ways to listen to the show. Go to 90.1 FM on your good old dial, if you will. You can download the TuneIn app from the Android or Apple Store. You can also go to kpft.org, our website, kpft.org, and listen to our show there. But of course, guess what, folks? You can watch the show. you can watch the program at facebook.com/KPFT Houston, facebook.com/KPFT Houston, or you can watch it on YouTube, politicsdoneright.tv, politicsdoneright.tv. Remember, we always have enough material for the entire hour, so if we don't cover it all, you can still go to that material by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, where we have the links to everything. But let's go ahead and get Harry onto the line. Come on in, Harry. How are you doing today? Let's see. I think Harry's going to be coming in 1 second. En un segundo vamos a tener a Harry. Come on in, Harry. Let's hear you on the line.
Can you hear me, Roberto?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay. You know this is the guy that called you on May 18th on your birthday, because I share the same birthday with you.
Oh, great. Happy birthday from May, my friend.
Right, because we talked on that day. And
yes.
I also asked you about, I sent an email to you because I wanted to know if you could come to the 7950 West Fuqua Fondren Church on Saturdays, or can you come on, can you also come on Recharge the Week on Tuesdays? Because I'd like you to meet the pastor, Mackenzie Cambisi, because I've been telling him about you, and you told me that you go to, your wife is a deacon at a church, and you said you'd be happy to do it when you get a chance.
Yes, I will be. The truth of the matter, I remember the email now, but you know how when you forget these things.
I sent an email, and you guys responded to my email.
Yes. I do remember responding. I just know I haven't followed up. So let's follow up by email and arrange when I'm going to be speaking at the Universal Unitarian Church on Sunday. I'm going to be talking about us getting along, irrespective of what side of the aisle you're on, etc. So I'm going to be there. So I'll be more than happy to go out and talk to you guys as well, my friend. That's an honor for me. I love talking to people.
Because I left the what time, they on Saturdays when they do it on Sabbath, they start at 9:30 and it goes to like 1:30 or 2 o'clock. They do Sabbath school, and then about 11 o'clock is when the pastor speaks, and they do a lot of singing in between when the pastor speaks. They have the choir sing, and then the pastor will speak some more, and it'll go to like 1:30 or 2 o'clock.
No problem, Harry. Let's do this offline by email, and we'll definitely arrange something, my friend. The next couple weeks I'm a bit tied up, but after that, okay?
Okay. Can I ask you another question?
Yes, sir.
I heard Howard Reynolds. I'm the guy that calls him because I listen to a lot of smooth jazz, and I was aware of that song because that came on right before your show, Mark Antoine. I missed yesterday's show because I had a problem, and I wanted to know who. Can you ask Howard who the smooth jazz artist was yesterday before your show?
Howard is on right now. Howard can answer you right now.
Yeah, we didn't have a smooth jazz artist yesterday. We signed on with the national anthem. A little departure from it usually.
Because I had a problem. I missed yesterday's show yesterday morning, so I didn't listen. But I can go back and listen online.
Yeah, here you can do that.
Thank you, brother.
I applaud you, and I applaud Alberto. I like you guys' thinking. We have to vote these right-wing crazies out. And I was just listening to Arnie Arneson show briefly before you're still going. He makes a lot of sense. He was talking about that Alabama stuff and the redistricting in the first half hour about all that to marginalize African Americans so they can't vote in people they want to vote in. But we have to vote these crazies like DeSantis. Let me
tell you, Harry. And there's another thing about Alabama. There's a mayor in Alabama that got elected, and the people won't let him serve. Check that out. It's on my newsletter from yesterday. So if you go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, I cover that story as well. Okay, brother.
Yeah, Arnie was talking about that mayor that can't get elected. She was
exactly.
Talking about this stuff to be 60-minute news. People need to be aware of this. I can tell you one more thing. My father in the 1950s, he protested in the 1950s when they were during Jim Crow, because he grew up during Jim Crow, when they would not let blacks be on the council. He grew up in Turnertown before he went to Tuskegee and became a radar man, and because he worked eventually he worked in Oregon and then Moffett Field after I was born, and he worked on the Vela project. So when the Soviet Union at the time was the United States with that Vela satellite was spying on the Soviet nuclear weapon program, and my dad worked in there in the 60s.
Kudos.
He went on to become a dentist later in the 70s.
Kudos to your dad. Kudos to your dad, Harry.
Yeah.
Thank you so kindly. Got to jump to Johnny before I get into some videos here, my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate your call.
Right. Tell Johnny I said hello because I love the way he thinks as well. I'll listen.
Thank you, brother. Peace. All right, brother Johnny, come on in. You're early today. Love having you early. Talk to me.
Well, it's in response. It's always in response to something, isn't it, with me? Some people go through life with their glass looking half empty. Some people perpetually seeing the half full side. Believe it or not, I'm both. I can do both, and we should be able to do both. So here's where I'm leading to. This so-called victory for the UPS workers, it's not a victory. It's not finished yet. They haven't signed the contract yet. And more importantly, the devil in the details. Now, what's the details? And the devil, we know who the devil is, but the detail is installing those air conditioning units on each and every UPS truck. So, if you're a UPS worker and you're hearing this conversation, feel free to take the wife or your spouse and children out to dinner, maybe a movie, to a quiet celebration. But in public, don't go, yay! And jumping up and down, because when you do that, you're transmitting weakness to the people that own and operate things, who think they own and operate everybody and everything. Remember, they still have to hold up their end of the bargain, quote unquote bargain. And you guys need to be vigilant. Don't let your guard down. Don't let your guard down. That's my message of hope.
Well, let me tell you, I think that with the steward the UPS steward that you guys are going to hear from now, I think she always have her guards up. In fact, that's the same stance she took, and that we don't have the contract to see yet. They're just dependent on what the union had to sign an NDA as they're negotiating. I mean, the leaders that are in negotiating this, she's a couple of levels down. And so they'll see the contract this week, and they'll vote on it by August 20-something, I believe, between now and August 20-something. But I read the highlights of the bill as released in the press release from the union, and everything that Evette, the woman that I'm going to have on right now, was looking for. And one of the biggest things in this contract is bringing up the part-timers to live to a much better wage. And when I was talking to Rick Smith back in Chicago, he was saying he thinks that the union promised the people too much because they're not going to get it. And guess what? They got most of it. So, and again, it's not a favor that the company was doing to the union. It's they went and they balanced it and said, oh my God, if these guys strike, we will do two things. There's this stuff in economics called demand destruction. When people learn to live without you, when people learn to live without your product, and in other words, when you return, all of them won't be back with you. And I think UPS started to see just maybe if that occurs, they will, this stuff that's called Uber, Lyft, and all these other kinds of companies that are using crowdsourcing to deliver. They probably thought maybe crowdsourcing would take a bigger hold, and we better make a deal with these guys right now. Anyway, Johnny, go on before I go to the other subject.
Unrelated question. You said a moment ago, before you took me on the air, you says, and the people won't let him serve, meaning this newly elected mayor. Who are the people? Aren't the people? Didn't they?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. It's the current mayor and the cabal that's been running that particular tiny town for the last, 50, 80 years or so. It's the same cabal, and they are the ones who are not given the keys. It's a mess out there, and they finally filed a federal lawsuit.
Mess everywhere. Thanks for the clarification. I'm just checking my sanity.
All right, Johnny. Thank you, brother. You have a great day, okay?
Go do your thing, boo.
All right. Anyway, Melanie Keelan on the chat. Welcome to Politics Done Right. Anyhow, folks, like we spoke about, let me just go ahead and play from our union steward her thoughts on this new contract, and then we'll move on to the next subject. Evette, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm well. How about you?
I am well. Please tell me if am I reading that correctly, that you guys got what you wanted?
Well, right now we just have limited information because we don't have the full information, but we do know that the 22-4, like you mentioned, the current job that I hold will be gone. We do know that they will start the part-timers off at $21 an hour with some increases. That may be a little spot for some, but it's only up to the vote of the membership at this point. So we'll keep working through August 1st, but then we'll have to wait on the vote to see whether the members say yes to everything that changed once we get the information, or if they vote no.
Yeah, but interestingly, if I understand the items in the contract, actually, the Teamsters released a press release, and I was looking for everything that you told me on that interview that we spoke to, and it was like, if that is correct, check. If that is correct, check. If that is correct. In fact, it seems like, and tell me if I'm wrong or right here, it seems like you are due a fairly large pay increase.
I definitely will be getting a pay increase. Like I said, since my 22-4 position has been eliminated, I definitely will get an increase, and by the end of the contract, should be making around $49 an hour. So
right,
that's a definite plus.
Right. That's what I thought I read. And when I said that, I'm like, you know what? You guys fought for it and you got it. And you know, I mean, I think I would, and you know, it's amazing because your success means the success for even those that are not in unions now. So you know, what you guys have accomplished, I think it is great. Now you got to bring everybody into unions. And I think having somebody like you working on that is exactly what we need.
It definitely will be very helpful. They can see for themselves what it takes as a union to fight and what workers can get when they stick together.
Absolutely. So, well, look, Evette, thank you so kindly for calling in. Thank you for that interview. And I can tell you one thing. I think UPS realized that America had your back. I honestly think they would not have made that contract if they didn't know all of America had your back and they were profiting off of everything you guys did. I mean, when I played that stuff, when some people heard that the story about how you guys had to work through the pandemic, it was simply astounding. They couldn't believe that is something that was happening here in America.
So yeah, definitely the word helped. I think getting out those stories helped everybody see what we actually had to deal with. So I truly appreciate, you know, avenues like Politics Done Right for allowing us to get that message out.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people were out there on y'all sites. I mean, I heard it everywhere. Let me just tell you that it was all over. People were talking about it. So congratulations, and I'm very happy for you and your team.
So appreciate y'all.
Have a great day, Evette. Thank you so kindly for calling in.
All right,
bye-bye.
You too.
All right, I spoke to Evette on my 3 o'clock show yesterday. Anyhow, let's go now to Markos Moulitsas. We're going to talk a little bit about his thoughts on the election. Markos Moulitsas is the publisher, the founder of the largest progressive website, organization, etc. in the country. That's the genesis of that conference that I went to in Chicago, Netroots Nation 2023, where we had about 3,000 activists, politicians, etc. out there, in which we spoke to quite a few of them. But anyhow, let's go ahead without further ado and bring in Senor Markos Moulitsas right this minute. Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. Today we're honored to have the one and only Markos Moulitsas, the founder and everything else of what? DailyKos.
How you doing?
How you doing, my brother? Once again here at Netroots Nation. Last time we were concerned. Are we still concerned?
Last time we were concerned about what?
Our politics.
I wasn't concerned.
No, you weren't concerned. I was concerned.
Oh, okay. I thought I was out on a limb because it was last
I remember,
August.
yes.
And the conventional wisdom was Crimson Tide,
Yes.
Red Wave, right?
Yes.
And I was like, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm looking at all the numbers and the special elections and the data, and things are
Yes.
looking pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
And so I didn't feel like I was going out on a limb.
Yeah.
But definitely conventional wisdom said
We should be.
but you looked into that. It was history says that the president in power loses midterm elections.
Yes.
Except during wartime.
Yeah.
World War II and 9/11 were the exceptions. And Joe Biden had a 38% approval rating.
Yes.
So that was the argument against it. And I was
Right.
like, but look at the special elections. We're crushing it in the
Yes,
special
yes,
elections.
yes.
And look at the data, look at the numbers. And so ultimately I was right.
Yes.
Which felt
Hey, it feels good to say that, don't
so
it?
good, man.
It feels great to say you're
Especially
right.
when like predicting Democrats winning, and then
Yes.
I'm right about. And if
Yes.
I'm predicting that Republicans are going to win, and then
Yes.
I'm right, I don't really need
You
to
don't-
celebrate
yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the what was it? New York Times just had had a bizarre article
Yeah.
that said that there are warning signs for Democrats heading into next year because Republican turnout was higher in the midterm. And
Think about the psychology of that. I mean, the math of that.
if Republican turnout is higher
Yes.
and the Democrats won,
Yes.
they are in deep shit.
No kidding. Yes.
That is the story. That means that some Republicans voted for the Democrats.
Yes.
It means that independents dramatically swung to the
Yes.
Democrats, and it means that Democrats turned out.
As well-
Nothing about that is good for the Republican
Yeah.
side. It's the weirdest story I've ever seen.
Let me ask you this, Markos, because you've been on all you've been on national TV and all of that, and somehow I don't think people register some of what you say. Where the hell do these guys come up with some of these articles when we have the data right here, and then they write what they write? Is it that they're hoping to move the electorate to where they think they are? Or, I'm serious
it's
about
not.
this.
No. I don't think it's nefarious in the sense that they're trying to game the
Yeah.
system. What's happening, I don't know if you remember back in the day, people say nobody ever got fired for buying IBM.
Right.
And it's that. If the conventional wisdom says Democrats are in disarray,
Right.
and you write a story that says Democrats are in disarray,
Right. Right.
nobody's going to not, you're like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's the conventional wisdom.
Right.
And so, for example, for the longest time, Republicans would say, this is a center-right country.
Right.
And they said it so often and so much that everybody repeated it, including Democrats.
Yes.
Now, this is a very early Netroots
Yes.
project where we looked
Yeah.
at the data and said, what are they seeing that we're not seeing? Because if we go down issue by issue, the American public is with the Democrats on almost every single one of them.
Elizabeth Warren came to a convention in 2015, and she laid down all these numbers.
It's not controversial.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's just like somebody saying Joe Manchin is a centrist.
Yeah.
Or Nancy Mace is a centrist, Congresswoman Nancy. What does a centrist mean? It doesn't mean you're in the middle of the extreme from the most liberal to the...
Right.
No, it means, to me, a centrist means with the American mainstream.
Right.
And in the American mainstream, the bulk of the Democratic Party is in the American mainstream. We are a centrist party.
Right.
And I don't mean this in a pejorative like...
Well, I'm glad you said that you don't mean it in a prejudice, because I have this thing against, I call it the mythical center because of where the center moved, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But I think we're talking about
I'm a
two different
centrist.
centers. Yeah, a different centrist.
And I'm a solid
yeah.
liberal.
Right, there you go. Okay, and that's where America is.
That's where I am
Yes.
in the American mainstream.
Right.
How's that not the center?
Right.
How do you not define the center with where the vast majority of the people are?
Right.
And there may be people to the left of that, and there's a whole party to the right of that.
Right, yeah.
But where the American people are, and that's why Republicans are trying to undermine democracy.
Right.
They can't win on the issues. They're
Right.
not even trying anymore.
Yeah.
Bud Light is not an issue. Trans children in sports is not an issue
Right.
that resonates, that is relevant to most Americans. And they're trying to eliminate ballot initiatives effectively in Missouri and Ohio because they know that when liberal issues are put up like abortion rights,
Right.
they lose.
Right.
Now, the Democratic Party has a shit brand.
Yes.
And so if you slap on Democrat to a candidate name, you
Yeah.
automatically loses like 20 points. Like,
No kidding, though. Yeah.
and it's a thing. Like,
Yeah.
pollsters will poll names without what do the issues
And
start?
everybody likes it.
Everybody likes a Democrat.
Yeah.
Then you ask one question saying, oh, by the way, that guy's a Democrat.
20 points.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work to be done. But we are on the cusp of this sort of political transition where the Republican Party has surrendered any effort to win new votes, and the Democratic Party is unprecedentedly united in its message, and it's a message that resonates. There's no micro-targeting message in the past.
Right.
Oh, we're going to talk to rural one way and urban and suburban
Right.
different ways, and people are like, well, what do you stand for? I hear you're talking out of all sides of your
Right,
mouth,
right.
right? You don't stand for anything. And it's because Democrats were afraid. They bought into this America's a center-right nation. They were afraid of the issues that were actually popular. And early nudgers were like, we're not asking you to go left to where you're unelectable. We're asking you to stick your finger up in the wind, see which way it's blowing,
Right.
and go there.
Because you know what? It's already what we believe.
Yes, go there.
Yeah.
And I think we're finally there.
Yeah.
As a party. And so you have somebody like Justin Jones in Nashville.
Was that beautiful or what, man?
And not only was it beautiful,
Justin Jones
but,
and what's the other guy's name? The guy from Maxwell.
yeah,
You know who I mean, from Florida.
And so you have, and you saw this in Nashville where he wasn't just getting support from urban Nashville
Exactly.
Tennesseans. It was resonating with suburban
Yes.
and rural
Yes, yes.
Democrats. It was energizing them in the rural areas too, because
Yes.
rural voters don't want their children murdered by
Yes.
gun violence. And so we finally have a message that sort of resonates in all, rural, urban, suburban, resonates blue states, red states, purple states. And so we're unified in purpose and in message and in focus, and we're not fighting. We just saw this orderly transfer of power in the House. Can you imagine Republicans can't even keep
They can't even keep their own party together. as it
Right,
is
yeah, right now.
Look at what's going on yesterday, yeah.
So it's really, we have a chance here to really press our advantage.
Yeah.
We won a midterm election. Completely
If New York had just hold our part of the bargain.
Yeah, and it will next year,
Yeah.
and we may even have new districts.
Yeah.
Because courts are saying,
That's what, exactly, yeah.
So not only will we have new districts, but we're going to have presidential year turnout. California
Right.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
the Orange County turnout wasn't great. We'll get presidential year turnout.
Now, what's your thoughts on the and not to buck you, but your thoughts on the Senate race in California? Who do we pick?
I mean, I'm a Katie Porter person, but it's a very soft Katie Porter, and definitely not Barbara Lee. I don't think Barbara Lee is. She's my congresswoman, and she's great for what she is.
Right.
I prefer people who are a little more practical.
Well, my thing with Katie is my candidate that I've been supporting, and I quote her all. I don't know if you see the articles. I love Katie because of her whiteboard and she kind of stands out. But also I like Katie because she's young and will have staying power, and I want more young people in Congress doing the work that they do. Your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, absolutely. Ossoff is dynamic and exciting because a lot of part because of that youth.
Yes.
And energy and vigor and just representing a generation that still doesn't feel particularly fully
represented.
Yeah, exactly, in our political process. And in fact, Congress has never been older than it is today. This is the oldest Congress.
And in that statement, I want to ask you a dangerous question that I think we should confront up front about the Biden age thing. Tell me what your honest thoughts about that.
I mean, he's clearly still got it.
I know he's got it, but
so
I mean,
that's all that matters.
How do you sell the false concern that the media is going to allow the right to do?
I mean, Donald Trump's 78. He's only 3 years younger.
I agree.
So no,
I agree with all of that. But how do we?
So the thing that, first of all, is I actually think Joe Biden might have one of the most successful presidencies we've seen in a long time.
The numbers speak for themselves.
It's absolutely dramatic, and the numbers aren't. His poll numbers don't reflect that, and I'm not sure what's happening there, and it'll be interesting as we have the rally around the flag effect closer to the election. I think that those numbers will go up.
But isn't it true that his polling numbers are off mostly because Democrats really haven't coalesced as they should, and they probably will at the end?
Yeah, I mean that's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Obama's numbers at this time were just that bad, and just as many people thought he should not run for re-election.
Again, okay.
So those questions are all bunk. Because when you ask should somebody else run, they think like, yeah, my favorite candidate.
Right.
They don't think, it's like everybody going like, yeah, we all want Elizabeth Warren to run, or
Right.
we all want
Right.
Kamala Harris to run. Like, that's not what they're thinking. They're
Right.
thinking their ideal candidate, that person does not exist.
Right.
So it's a stupid question.
Right.
People will always answer yes, somebody else.
Right.
And politicians nobody likes politicians,
Yeah.
right? So
Well-
there's always somebody else. Yet Democrats would easily renominate Joe Biden, and they're probably going to renominate Donald Trump, absent.
Now, let me ask you something. And your thought, going to your crystal ball again, has been right the last few times. Donald Trump, do you think he really makes it to the convention?
Dude's not healthy. I mean, for all we know, he has a stroke next week. Right?
Oh, Lord.
And so I'm not even. So there are.
No, but Markos, if suppose that's the case, does that present a danger for Biden?
You know, it's a good question. Who would emerge from
That's what I'm
that
saying.
field?
Does anyone-
if it's Ron DeSantis, it's
Not a chance. I don't think it's a problem. There.
I mean, we
I'm
don't take
scared
it.
of- you know who I'm scared of?
Brian
And
Kemp?
You're going to laugh.
Brian Kemp?
No.
Who?
Christie.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, and nobody's there at all,
So
right?
here's a problem for the Republicans.
Yeah.
They have a significant chunk of their electorate
Right.
that are not Republicans.
Right.
They are Trump MAGA
Exactly.
fanaticals. If Trump is not the candidate, this is what
Right.
happened in 2022, right?
Right.
He's not on the ballot, they don't turn out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe in elections, they believe in their God King
Right.
cult leader.
Right.
That's all they care about. If somebody takes out Trump,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're done. They lose even 10% of that. There's just no path.
Let me tell you something. I hope
to
your
win.
crystal ball is
now,
right on that
where
one.
you have potential promise of Brian Kemp, who might actually be able to play for suburban college-educated white women. It's tougher,
Yeah.
but it's that puts me a little more worried.
Yeah.
Chris Christie has been going after Trump hard, and that 30% MAGA base will not vote
Mm-hmm.
for Chris Christie no matter what.
But you know what I fear? That some Democrats will vote for Chris Christie, given New Jersey.
I mean, his approval rating in New Jersey was 16%
Yeah.
when he was
When he left, yeah.
So he was damaged good, and
Right.
to me, he looks like a kamikaze Ron, which is great.
And you know, even that's good. You know,
No,
let him do
it's,
it, yeah.
and it's actually smart
Yeah.
for the Republican establishment
Yeah.
to try to take out Trump. Had they been smart, I know I could almost guarantee if we had Mitch McConnell here
Yeah.
and we said, be honest, should you have voted to impeach, he'd say yes today.
Mitch McConnell surprised me because he has been so bad in the way he has dealt with Trump. It's
And
almost
it's clear to me
Yeah.
now that he regrets it.
yeah.
And if he could go back and do it, he thought that he was a loser. He's damaged. He's going to go away.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why he would think that. It was all the signs were clearly there.
Well,
that-
everybody was saying it on the liberal side, right?
Exactly. So they're going to lose an election because of Trump.
Yeah.
It's better to rip off that Band-Aid and do what they did after Watergate.
Yeah.
I mean,
with Nixon, yeah.
You rip off the Band-Aid,
And then
you make
come
him go
back.
away,
Yeah.
and then you rebuild from that.
But you know what? The thing that scares me even, I don't even want them rebuilding because I tell you what, the only non-democratic branch of our government, the Supreme Court, and what do we do about that?
What we do is we expand it. We do?
Okay, let's back up a second because our guy right now is, and this is, I got in trouble on DailyKos for saying something, and what I said was, it wasn't even anti-Biden, it was just saying Biden, I think, made a critical mistake in saying, just outright saying, I am not going to expand the Supreme Court when he went on to MSNBC. And my contention was, make it less obvious because a lot of people depend on us changing the Supreme Court given the staying power. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I wish he wouldn't say that.
Right.
I also know that Biden is, by definition, just by his character, he's a cautious
Right.
person.
Yeah.
I mean, he said we weren't going to send tanks to Ukraine.
And
we
it's
sent
gone,
tanks.
yeah. F-16s%.
Yeah. So he has a history of saying no. And then when the political conditions are there,
Yeah.
he can evolve. So right now, for him to say, I'm going to expand the Supreme Court, it would give Republicans a reason to rally
exactly.
around the flag, saying
That's
like,
true.
our majority
That's true.
is in danger. By saying, no, it's off the table, Republicans can't run on that.
Yeah.
I mean, they can point to like people like us.
Yeah, that's say that, yeah.
But without Biden saying it,
Right.
it really makes it a lot harder. Now it's a lot different if he says that he wins re-election.
Mm-hmm.
We Ruben Gallego replaces Cinema,
Yeah.
and we hold the ground. We have
Right.
senators who would likely vote to eliminate the filibuster.
Which is what we got to have.
And then, DC statehood's on the table. Even Joe Manchin's bill to eliminate partisan gerrymandering, that's on the table.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of things that we can do at that point, including expanding the Supreme Court. At that point, if Biden says, let's not do it, then we're like, let's beat the shit out of him because there's no reason for him at this point. Before the election, there's really no benefit to it. I mean, I would love it. He was like, don't get me wrong.
I know, but my question though is by making it as definite as he sounded, will he kind of affect, some of us are not pragmatic. I mean, some of us are just not pragmatic enough. What's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, because
I'm a very lefty guy. You're a centrist. I'm a lefty, but I am going to team up and
centrist defined by
No. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I am going to compromise, and I wasn't a Hillary Clinton supporter, but I strongly came in support of her. I wasn't a Biden supporter. I came strongly in support of Biden after the team said, this is what we're doing. But too many of us aren't like that.
I don't think anybody's going to base their support for Biden on this one issue.
I hope so.
I mean, I think it's going to be like, that was a shitty one. But okay, he just forgave student loan debt for 800,000 people. I don't know.
No, it was over a million, man.
I just saw the headline earlier today, so I haven't read the stories. That's the stuff.
Oh, wait! I missed something. You're telling me I missed something. Something came over
today.
The Chiron today. What was it?
He just wrote off something like $800 billion in student debt overnight without even having to apply or anything. He just completely
took it off.
Yeah,
and he had the power to do that.
Well, we'll find out what the Supreme Court has to say about it. But
you know what they go say.
But
if they pay the bills before,
he thinks exactly.
Yeah,
he thinks. I mean, Biden. They think they got it though. They think they have the authority.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, the original one, the emerging authorization was about 9/11, so it was a bit of a stretch
to do that.
And so it, I still don't like the decision, but there's some logic to it. We're like, okay, that was like a 9/11 bill. I haven't read the story, so I don't know. But from what I vaguely remember, this was based on current law. That was a lot more solid.
That is great.
So that's the sort of stuff that I think is more tangible and will have more of an impact than him saying something that a lot of people didn't even know he said on an issue that's not front and center right now.
Okay.
And it doesn't need to be front and center right now. We don't need to give Republicans some reason to rally.
Well, we win the Senate. We take back the House. We hold the Senate and we get rid of cinema. We get rid of cinema.
That's happening.
Manchin, I don't know.
We actually need him to win, so it's okay if he holds on.
If cinema loses and we get Gallego.
So that's a plus one.
That's
really.
plus one.
So we're at 51-49. We still have to hold Montana, Virginia, West Virginia, in Ohio.
And the good thing is Tester's running this cycle, so he has 6 years, so he should be able to say yes to bust the filibuster.
No, it's a tough race. It's Montana. But Trump won it by 10 points.
But Tester is a special guy in Montana.
He is, but it's gonna be tough. Joe Manchin's gonna be tough.
Joe, the truth of the matter is, even though it'll be left 50-50 with Joe Manchin gone, it's almost 50-50 now with Joe Manchin.
But his voting rights bill is actually solid.
I
mean, it was good. Eliminating partisan.
I didn't even check that.
It eliminates partisan gerrymandering. It has electoral college reform in it. So it actually locks in the vote. The electoral college, you can't get rid of it, constitutional reasons. But it doesn't allow.
They can't play around with it like they were trying to play around with it
exactly.
during Trump.
It was actually a shockingly good bill. There's very little.
Why did he do that? Given who he is, that's surprising.
So the one thing he gave Republicans on it, I think, is he allowed photo ID. But not even voter ID. It could be like a utility bill. So it's just like proof that you live where you say you live.
Okay.
I'm actually, if that's a compromise and you get rid of partisan gerrymandering, I'm taking it.
Hell yeah.
And it means more work for voter registration people to make sure.
But still, it's a responsibility. So
we can do that work.
Okay, Markos. Let's talk about Markos. What the hell's happening with Markos now? What are your big plans? DailyKos, what else is going on?
I don't know. Big plans for we got to win next year. So it's a lot of focusing on the core traditional DailyKos mission of more and better Democrats, right? So more is important. We need to take this a House. I feel really positive about the House. We need to make gains in state legislatures. We're so close to taking over legislatures in Virginia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. We got some real strong opportunities.
I hope the Democratic Party don't think Texas is really a lost cause. I'm in Texas, and I can tell you one thing. It's about us not. I know a lot of people don't like to hear me say that, but we are not going to. Let me tell you something, Markos, and listen to here. We get rural hospitals closed, and we don't have Democrats going into Yoakum, Texas, or all these places and say, this hospital is closing and attaching it to the death of people who had to drive 100 miles for care. We don't do any of that and make a big issue out of that. And so marginal races we lose. There were a lot of marginal races we lose. Why do we do that?
Yeah, I mean, and Republicans, they know they can't win on the issue, so they've taken over the electoral machinery in Houston. In Houston, what's the county?
No, it is Harris County.
Harris.
That's where I live. Yeah.
And so, we need to solidify Arizona, Georgia. They're still not locked down. They're very tentative. But we have opportunities in North Carolina. We have opportunities in South Carolina.
Great.
Mississippi should be a purple state.
Did you say South Carolina?
South Carolina, Mississippi. By demographic, they should be purple or blue states.
Oh, okay.
40% of Mississippi is black.
I know it's black, but sometimes I wonder because of the way the numbers come out.
All you need is 10% of white people. And we don't even get that. We don't even get that in Mississippi. And Texas.
Yeah.
By demographics, Texas
should be
purple to blue.
Right.
And so we gotta fight for those things. And one of the things I love about how the conference is evolving is people are in the early days, you may even remember this, it was all about Howard Dean versus John Kerry and Bernie Sanders. And it was like, okay, great, presidential, but can we focus on these down ballot races?
We're starting to see a lot of the panels.
And now it's really, the conference has evolved into how to better organize on the ground at the state level. And even here, I don't know if you saw the keynote last night.
Yes, I did. Oh, you bet you did?
This is a blue city. Chicago is a Democratic city.
Yeah.
It upgraded its Democrats. And all sorts of incredible new policies are emerging from the mayor's office, from the DA, elimination of cash bail, incredible new policies. And so it matters in a blue state. It matters in a purple state, obviously, because that's a battleground.
Right.
But it matters in red states. I mean, tonight we're going to talk to Justin Jones, and who had his incredible
re-election after being thrown out.
Re-election in Tennessee, and catalyzing support for Democrats in branding Democrats. We're the party of gun safety. And we talked about earlier that Democratic Party brand is trash. It's important for people like Justin Jones to stand up and say, this is what Democrats really stand for, and to work on that rebranding process. That's a red state challenge. And so this conversation, these organizing has to happen everywhere, even in the reddest states. And it is happening. I'm really excited, and I'm really hopeful for where we are going forward as a movement, because as I said, we won this Supreme Court election in Wisconsin. We took control of this Supreme Court. That means we're going to redraw the state legislative districts. A fair map gives us a chance at majorities. We're going to redraw the House district. That's 2-3 seats we're going to pick up right there. And then not to mention all the policy stuff that court was blocking. 3 election cycles ago, Republican ran unopposed. We're finally realizing this matters. So that's what I'm really excited about. The president's important. We're gonna have those battles. I'm sure we will, in 4 years. But we're finally realizing the important battles are things like school boards. Conservatives always knew this.
And we're starting to get.
We finally are getting the idea, this shit matters.
Markos Moulitsas.
Thank you so much.
El Señor Director de DailyKos. Thank you so kindly for being here on Politics.
It's such a pleasure, and thanks for doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. All right, folks. I hope you like that. Markos Moulitsas is the founder, publisher of DailyKos.com, which is the largest progressive rag in the entire country. Every politician wants to get there when we have that conference. Every progressive politician they're coming out there to make sure that they get the activists on their side. Anyhow, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Hit extension numero dos to get on air. And by the way, folks, don't forget, in order to not let us have these long fund drives we normally have later on in this year or in this summer, you can actually start when you get to that website. I see that donate button. I'm going to throw a few dollars to KPFT to make sure we can continue to bring luminaries like Markos Moulitsas. And tomorrow I'll likely have the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith, help me out, guys. Keith, whatever. Well, he's going to be here with us tomorrow, I believe. Unless something that really changes the news happens today, we're going to read Keith Ellison. That's his name. Keith Ellison will be in with us on tomorrow. Anyhow, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. If nobody calls in the next minute, I'm going to be jumping onto the subject. But let me hear from Howard your thoughts on Markos Moulitsas, my dear Howard.
Okay. Well,
did I catch you off guard?
Yeah, of course you did. You caught me off guard here. So I think Jack has some notes here that he would like to share. No, he says no. What do I think about that? Didn't really.
Well, that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Anyhow, we'll go off to that other subject. Let me tell you, Dan Patrick. That's all I'm going to start it with.
Now I have an opinion.
Let me hear your opinion. See, you didn't have an opinion before, and now you have an opinion. You see, I'm about to start, and now you got an opinion. Go ahead, my brother.
You mentioned Dan Patrick. What an overbearing chode he is. I mean, Lord. Just come on. Really? Come on, Dan. Straighten up and fly right. You're in a responsible position, and you're just an overbearing person. And I think he's nuts, actually. Jack says something here.
And he doesn't take criticism very well.
No.
Really not.
That is what we're going to talk about if the call that come in is not. Well, I think that's going to be Johnny again, but we'll see. Anyway, folks, 713-526-5738. We have quite a bit to say about Dan Patrick, but if you want to say quite a bit about either what we spoke about before or anything that you want to bring up, give us a call at 713-526-5738. Extension numero dos, extension number 2. We're here for you. Hey, you heard that rhyme? Come on in, Johnny.
Now you know why I don't like calling in early. This is the reason.
Why?
I take one issue with Markos, the DailyKos guy.
Mm-hmm.
He describes centrist. He refers to himself as a centrist, when all along I've been criticizing the label centrist because people like Pelosi, Schumer, Biden, Barack, Hillary, and Bill, those people, they all have taken and continue to take corporate dark impact money, and they all refer to themselves as centrists.
Right.
So I distinguish the leadership of the Democratic Party, i.e. centrist, from the rest of the people who have common sense like me, who actually we all agree on progressive issues and policies. They may talk it, but they don't walk it. How do you like that, Prof?
What Markos, I think, was trying to do is take the label and say, no, you guys aren't centrist. He's telling these other guys, you are not centrist. We are the real centrists, because if you look at the bell curve, we are where the people are at. So we are the ones that are really in that center part of the bell curve, is what I think he's saying. Now, what I pointed out, if you listen to my interviews, I said I am at the left of that, folks, that are where the country really votes, right? Or where the country really, I shouldn't say vote, but where the country really polls. The country polls very left, okay? And generally speaking, I am further left of that for one specific reason. I think that our educational system have sort of chained people, put chains on people for the things that we as a society can actually work together to attain. But again, For me to be successful, when I say me, I'm not talking Egberto Willis. I'm talking about for the true left to be successful, we have to do what others have done, and that is education, to accept and allow folks to understand that without us, there ain't no economy. But that takes a while. But anyway, Johnny, thank you for calling in again. I think you always come and try to make it like we don't agree, and it turns out ultimately we agree, Johnny. What's wrong with you?
That's not it. You and I do agree. We're simpatico. We're brothers.
All right, look, let me go to Donald, Johnny. Hey, Johnny, listen to me. You've got your chance twice today, Johnny. Let's go to Donald, okay?
Language is everything.
Love you, brother. Peace. All right, come on in, Donald.
Are you ready?
I am ready, Donald. Come on in, Mr. Trump.
Okay, there are the haves and the have-nots. There is no right wing. There is no left wing. The truth is what they say it is. And a glass half full of or half empty of pee is still a glass of pee when you pour it on somebody's head.
Donald, I love you, man. I love you. All right. Thank you for your thoughts. All right.
All right. Take it easy.
You have a great day. Let's bring in Brian. I hope this is a Brian that I think it is. Come on in, Brian. At least you're coming in with 4 minutes to talk. Talk to me.
No, I only got a few quick questions. Actually, one. It won't take up much of your time. Exactly what does Hunter Biden do for a living if he owes $2 million in back taxes?
The truth is, I don't care, but I don't think much. I think he's one of those kids with a silver spoon in his mouth, if you want me to give you a good answer.
Yeah, and he gets away with quite a bit more than the normal person would get away with, huh?
Not really. Let me just say this, and I want you to go ahead and check the records for yourself. Don't listen to what others are telling you. He only got charged with that tax evasion thing and the gun thing because his name was Biden. If you look at how the law has treated, let me finish. I let you talk, please. Let me finish, and I promise you come back. Any other person would have gotten a slap on the wrist compared to having what he went through. That's not coming out of my mouth. That is coming out of a few right-wingers that came onto MSNBC, and when queried, they asked them, if you were a first-time offender with the IRS and you paid it all back, would you have gotten charged? And they said, no, you would not. If you take a look at all the people who've ever been charged with that, and for the gun charge that he got, again, the same answer. They couldn't do that because the right wing would have gone berserk if he didn't get charged. So, I mean, you can look this up, Brian. Don't take my word. Look it up. Don't listen to the right wing either. Look it up yourself. Go ahead, sir.
I have looked it up.
Sir, if you looked it up, I looked it up as well, and I think, and again, I promise you this: if you really honestly looked it up, what you would have had to agree with what I just said. It's that simple. It's black and white, sir.
Yeah, no, it's not. He got off because of his name, and he was not charged because of his name.
He was charged?
Yeah. What does he do for a living?
I don't think he does anything of particular interest. I mean, I don't think any of these kids from these rich politicians do anything.
Yeah.
They use their name.
Oh, so much money in back taxes.
They use their name, sir. Okay, let me tell you. Sir.
Per month to work for gas.
Sir, hey, Brian, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
You don't have any kids. Okay. I wanted to use that as an example, but I can't. But let me just tell you this. You care about your family, your mother, your brother, your sister, and all these other people?
Yeah, as much as the other person, yes.
Okay, good. Why not us worry about those things that are affecting them, which right here in Texas are many? Biden kids, I don't have much thought on. Trump's kids, I don't have much thought on. Have you ever heard me come on to this show and beat up on Trump kids for getting $2 billion for the Saudi they didn't earn? I don't think you heard me talking about that issue. I believe that issue. I can prove that issue, but I don't bring it up for one specific reason, Brian. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help Jack Van Beber. It's not going to help Johnny. It's not going to give health care to any one of these people. What the right does, and to a large extent, Brian, is the following. We put you to get irate, upset, and mad about the things that don't matter to you because we don't want to give you the things that matter to you because we want to make sure that only the wealthy gets it. So you and I, Brian, should be on the same page. That's why you'll always have a hearing here. You'll always be welcome on my show because I see the light. All right? I'm not going to let them tie us up on what Trump kids are doing, what Biden kids are doing, and all of that. They're all in one big cabal of privilege where you and I are not. You and I have more in common than you and Trump. You and I have more in common than you and all those right wingers that are trying to get you to do wrong. So you are my brother. Anything else before I go to the next subject?
Well, no.
Thank you, brother. You have a great day. All right. Anyway, folks, I just want to say this real quick about Dan Patrick. A professor goes and gives a speech in Galveston, Texas. The speech is accurate. She makes mention that absent the policies that Dan Patrick stands for, we would be able to solve the opioid crisis and certain things. Before she got into her car on her way back to College Station, she gets a call. Patrick's office call. He wants you fired. This is a trip. This is a political system trying to take over the educational system so that it will just lie to the American people. I'll cover this a little bit later because I'm out of time. Give me a quick closer, Jack Van Beber and brother Howard Reynolds.
Been a very great show today. Be sure to stay tuned for Democracy Now! Now, Jack?
Yeah, let's, as people out here, we need to really look hard and research for the truth because there's a lot of wedge issues out there like Hunter Biden or the Trump kids that don't mean beans to what's going on.
Amen. Thank you very much, Van Weber. My name is Evette Willis. This is Politics Done Right. Again, I thank once again our control room, Van Weber and Howard. My name is Evette Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this, baby.